What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Knicks Latest. It has been a very weird offseason, to say the least. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give this video a like. Comment on the video as well. I want to get as much comments as possible. Want to involve your opinion on this show, especially when it comes to this head coaching search, because this is insane. This has been an insane offseason ever since they fired Tibbs. It feels like there has been no direction with this franchise. Just late last night, around 11:15 at night, Shams just tweets a Shams bomb. I call it a sham wow, but a Shams bomb, basically saying the Knicks asked for permission to interview or to poach Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Ime Udoka of the Houston Rockets away from their respective teams, and I cannot believe they even had the audacity to do so. You're talking about two head coaches that figuratively and literally turned those two franchises around. You think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to get rid of the coach that turned their franchise around? You think the Houston Rockets are going to get rid of their coach that turned their franchise around? Does not make any sense whatsoever. Of course, Shams ended the tweet saying that they also have permission, or they're going to seek permission to interview more coaches who have head coaching positions with teams already. That's obviously a ploy and until that the Knicks are still trying to get Jason Kidd from the Dallas Mavericks, still trying to get permission to interview him, possibly set something up with the Mavericks in a trade so that Jason Kidd can get traded to the New York Knicks. To me, this has been as sloppy of a transition as it could have possibly been for the New York Knicks. You fire a head coach that has brought you to the playoffs 4 out of 5 seasons, an Eastern Conference Finals playoff berth, and you have no plan. You don't have a guy. Not only do you not have a guy, you don't have a guy or two. You don't have anybody who is available. What is the plan here? What's the plan, Leon? What's the plan, James? What was behind the firing of Coach Tom Thibodeau? I think Leon needs to do a press conference. And I don't mean to get my Stephen A. Smith on. I think he's somebody who's very hyperbolic and actually does more harm than good with Knicks media. But I think he's right about this one. Leon Rose needs to talk to the fans. Why was Tibbs fired? What's the plan from here going forward? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a Johnny Bryant, a new and upcoming head coach who's good with players and can lead you to the next step? Or are you looking for a more experienced head coach? You know, like a Udoka, but it's someone who's available, like a Budenholzer or a Vogel or a Stotts. What are you looking for? What's the plan here? Because we don't know what's going on. And even though there are a lot of Knicks fans, including myself, who thought that this team could have used it changed, I'm not mad at the firing. But what are we, like, you still have to have a plan. I still respect Tom Thibodeau. I still don't think you should fire a head coach if you don't have something better lined up. It doesn't make any sense. This has been very sloppy. It's been very sloppy. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that the Knicks still think or are trying to get some type of pulse on Giannis to the New York Knicks. I think the hiring of Jason Kidd, if he were to be hired, the interest in Jason Kidd is to get Giannis here. Giannis did enjoy Jason Kidd's tenure there in Milwaukee, even though the Bucks were not that good when Jason Kidd was the head coach. Him and Jason Kidd seem to have a good relationship. The thought process seems to be, at least the general consensus of the thought process seems to be, that if you get Jason Kidd, you're more likely to have Giannis request a trade, and that will bring him to the New York Knicks. But is that worth it? Is hiring a coach, Jason Kidd, who has problems with front offices, who has domestic violence charges against him, who has other charges against him, who is known to be difficult to work with, and who, to be quite honest with you, is not an upgrade of X's and O's with Tom Thibodeau. I know Tibbs was stubborn. So is Jason. Not imaginative on offense, which is weird because he's one of the best coaches of all time, one of the best point guards of all time. But you look at his offenses, a lot of it's just ISOs and pick and rolls at the top of the key with not a lot of movement, for the most part. And a lot of it has to do with personnel. I understand he had Luka, he has Kyrie. It's a little different for him. I understand that. But we're not upgrading anywhere here in my estimation, at least. Even if you think Jason Kidd's a better coach than Tom Thibodeau, it's not by much, if at all. And I don't even think that myself. What are we doing? Is Giannis worth it? Is hiring Jason Kidd worth it to get Giannis? I don't know. It depends what the package looks like. I come from, an era where I watched the 90s Knicks. I watched the chemistry. I loved it. They didn't win a championship, but they made the Eastern Conference Finals. They were in the finals twice, like chemistry. Talent's important, but it was chemistry. Then you have all the 2010s, and all the Knicks did was try and hit the home run with stars. You have your Marburys, your Antonio McDyess, your Carmelo Anthonys, your Amari Stoudemires. Gutting rosters in hopes that LeBron James comes to New York, and that does not work out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through this anymore. We can be if we're being completely honest, they gutted their roster to try to get Kyrie and KD, and they ended up with Julius Randle. They got lucky that Julius turned out to be who he was. That was not the original plan. They fell into that. Why are we going back to that? They did such a good job building from the ground up. And now we're going to go back to trading everybody for a star? I don't know if it's worth it. Right now, as a Knicks fan, as you can tell, I'm feeling kind of stressed. I'm very nervous about the direction this team is going in. I thought we'd find a coach very quickly. I thought they had somebody in mind. I thought they would at least interviewed somebody who's available by now. But that's right now just trying to poach other coaches from the organizations that they were already coaching for. Weird time to be a Knicks fan. Don't you love it? All right, well, listen. I'm sure there's going to be an update tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. Drop a comment. Who do you think the Knicks are going to hire? Is Jason Kidd worth it? Do you think that I'm making a big to-do about nothing with them trying to poach Ime Udoka and Chris Finch away from their respective teams? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe, like the video. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Knicks Latest. Peace.